This is ATN Global News. First, the headlines. Army GOC inaugurates welfare projects in Rivers State. Lagos State Governor signs 3.366 trillion naira budget into law. Tinubu mourns fallen soldiers in Borno attack. Petroan denies seeking free money from federal government. U.S. mission in Nigeria closes to honor Jimmy Carter. Ex-Super Eagles player probes NFF over new coach. Singer Speed Darlington petitions DIG over detention. And now, the rest of our stories. General Officer commanding the 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, says the Nigerian Army remains committed to the welfare of soldiers while calling on commanders at all levels to prioritize the welfare of their personnel and their families. Major General Abdul Salam stated this when he commissioned several projects at the 343 Artillery Regiment, Elele Barracks in Rivers State, executed by the commanding officer 343 AR Lieutenant Colonel Edward Khan. The GOC said most of the projects inaugurated have a direct impact on the lives of the troops and their families, adding that before the renovation work was undertaken, the occupants were paid to make use of some facilities. Some of the projects commissioned were a 200-meter concrete road linking senior non-commissioned officers' quarters to the medical center, corporal below quarters, and indoor sports and recreation centers, a tennis court, and a refurbished squash court. Major General Abdul Salam also said in most decisions taken by COAS, his soldiers' first ideology has been called on commanding officers to key into the COAS soldiers' first initiative and use it as a driving force in all their endeavors. Earlier, the CO343AR Lieutenant Colonel Khan thanked the GOC and other senior officers who graced the event, stating that before he embarked on the complete renovation, the 30-room block had completely deteriorated, adding that the poor state of the rooms informed his decision to give it a complete facelift in line with the COAS soldiers' first concept for the benefit of troops. Ogbako Ikwere Worldwide, the apex socio-cultural organization of the Ikwere ethnic nationality, in a press conference on the 9th January 2025 at the Convention Secretariat, once again made it clear that the Ikwere ethnic nationality is not an Igbo clan. Our correspondent Johnson Wali completes the report.
Ogbako Ikwere Worldwide, the apex socio-cultural organization of the Ikwere ethnic nationality, in a press conference with the President General of Ogbako Ikwere Cultural Organization Worldwide, His Royal Majesty Barrister Gospower Onokwa, PhD, on the 9th January, once again made it clear that the Ikwere ethnic nationalities are not Igbos. According to the President General, verified piece of history and the innate character of a man speak for the ancestral infinity with Ikwere history, well written and well documented as an independent ethnic nationality with 4 local government areas and not a subgroup under any other group.
First of all, I want to inform you that Ikwere as an ethnic nationality is not Igbo. Ikwere ethnic nationality is never a subgroup of any ethnic nation in Nigeria or elsewhere. Ikwere ethnic nationality is one of the ethnic blocks which constitute the present day of Nigeria, and the people are found in 4 local government areas in the present day of Rivers State. The local government areas are as follows: Ikwere, which is commonly called Kelga; Emoha, which the local government is Nemolga; Obiakpo, Obaga, and Port Harcourt City called Salga. Ikwere remains a homogeneous ethnic group with a common ancestry and paternity. In this stead, we make the following documentary statements, which are as follows. 1. Ikwere people are from Rivers State and the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. The people have their unique culture and traditions. The declaration of Obaki Ikwere Cultural Organization during the Oputa Human Rights Violence Panel of 2001 says that Ikwere ethnic nationality is not and has never been a subgroup of any other tribe in Nigeria, including Ndi Igbo.
The President General further stated that the Ikwere identity is distinct and that they do not need an Ohaneze Ndigbo presidency to define or represent them. The PG, however, warned that Obako Ikwere Cultural Organization Worldwide had not mandated anyone to speak on behalf of the Ikwere ethnic nationality, noting that any Ikwere son that accepts the offer by Ndigbo to become the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo will be treated as an enemy to the Ikwere ethnic nationality.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria recognizes Ikwere ethnic nationality as a distinct and unique ethnic group in Nigeria. The people of Ikwere frown at any attempt by some Igbo to incorporate Ikwere as a subset or subgroup of any other ethnic group in Nigeria. We acknowledge some shared similarities between Ikwere and her neighbors, including the Igbo, in terms of aspect of culture and traditions. However, this does not in any way validate the bogus and unverified claims that Ikwere is Igbo, has been peddled by Igbo passionists. The Ikwere ethnic nationality wishes to inform the general public and particularly the whole world that Obaki Ikwere has not mandated any person or group to speak on her behalf or label us as part of any ethnic group. It is now rumored that Ohaneze Ndigbo intends to make an Ikwere man the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo. However, any person, no matter highly placed, who may decide to accept this offer eventually becomes an enemy to Ikwere people.
I am Johnson Wale, Atlantic Television Network, Port Harcourt.
Analyst has urged former Rivers State Governor Peter Odili to sue for peace in the political crisis of the state between the two factions. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a public policy analyst, Chizi Inyomasela, stressed that Dr. Odili, as an elder statesman, should have called for peace between the Federal Capital Territory, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesom Wike, and the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara.
What should have been done by Odili, especially in this scenario, knowing that these two persons are respecting this much, was to call. What we would have heard was that, okay, assuming that the president has even called them for a truce, I would have thought that Odili would stand up, because the president President Tinubu was his mate, you know. In fact, Odele was deputy governor when he was senator. Odele was a member of the Constituent Assembly, in fact, chairman of Rivers State when the creation of states. And so he had some pedigree. I would have thought that, Mr. President, I thank you for trying to intervene in Rivers State crisis, but please give me the same thing we do in court. You can come to court to say, please allow me wade into this thing. I would have thought that as an elder, as a leader, that he would have called these two persons and asked the president to give him that opportunity for them to come back here. And then, so what would have been here is that, look, Odele and, Sim and Wike was in Odele's house, where the Odele did this and, you know, blamed those who he has to blame and all of that.
Chizi also alleged that Dr. Peter Odele is a supporter of Governor Siminalayi Fubara and may not be interested to address the crisis as expected by many.
I can tell you that if you enter into the field of football and takes a side and then you are in the other side, I will not say because you're my pastor, I will not ruffle you. That means that I will have to also dribble you to score. I wouldn't let you score me. So that means is that now we have zeroed as seen people. And so whoever is fighting on this or the other side is fighting, he is part of the game. So if Sim is won, he is won. If Sim wins, he also.
This is coming after the Rivers State Elders Council had warned some individuals stoking the embers of crisis between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Nyesom Wike, and the former Governor Peter Odele to desist from the act. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri has commiserated with the family of late retired Major General Godwin Osagie Abe, a former military governor of Akwa Ibom and Rivers State. Abe was governor of Rivers State between 1990 and 1992 before Bayelsa State was carved out on October 1, 1996. He was also Minister of Interior and later Minister of Defense between 1988 and 1992. Governor Diri, in a statement in Yenogwa by his spokesperson, Mr. Daniel Alabra, described Abe as a consummate and professional military officer who was committed to the service of his fatherland. Diri, who expressed the sympathies of the government and the people of the state, urged the Abe family to be comforted by his shining legacies of integrity and patriotism, as well as his contributions to national development. Armed cultists suspected to be members of the Greenlanders on Wednesday night invaded Igbo Jene community, a suburb of Yenogwa, the Bayelsa capital, and killed 3 persons. The cultists, numbering about 10 and armed with dangerous weapons, were said to have invaded the community at about 8 p.m., causing residents to scamper for safety. A resident who preferred anonymity said the first person shot dead was the son of former head of the community vigilante group, while a second person, who was not a cultist, was shot when he could not disclose the whereabouts of his elder brother. Investigations showed that the attack was sparked off by rivalry between 2 notorious cult groups, the Bobos and Greenlanders, while the cultists involved in the fights are residents and indigents of the community. Also speaking, the youth president of the Igbo Jene community, Mr. Ezekiel Igbenivie, who confirmed the development, said those involved had absconded, but one of the persons shot is still alive and receiving treatment in the hospital. The arrival of the police teams of operation police teams of Operation Dorkapo Division, the anti-kidnapping squad, and the rapid response team calmed down the situation. The spokesman of the Bayelsa Police Command, DSP Musa Mohammed, who also confirmed the incident, identified those shot as Donaldson Mison, Adi Mulan, and Greenboy Dudele, 29. Analysts has charged the Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebelo, to present proofs of allegation against the suspended chairman of the local government areas on the allegations of the 12 billion naira to some chieftains of the party within 15 months. Public affairs analyst Chizi Inyomasila, while speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, said the third tier of government should be allowed to operate independently.
12 billion naira is not a small money to have said people that drift into that, and that is not a money that won't have signatory authorization. And I think that before now, the state were operating on a joint allocation, and so the onus of proof is on the governor. Now, that allegation could also be made by an individual. All you do is to prove it, that this is truly, and if it does, it's not something we need to leave in a wave of hand. It's something that has to be serious. It has to be serious in two dimensions. Is it true that this happened? And if it's true, then the people should be prosecuted. If it's not true, even the governor should be held for perjury, for lying, for telling the people that. I mean, that is not a very, what will I say, simple allegation, to give. Then on the other hand, I want to look at it from this dimension. You see, I have maintained that I am not, the lawyers will tell you that they do not know the whole law, and God forbid that they do. That's to say that we must allow the third tier of government to operate independently, and the local government should be. There's autonomous in this state. If he's saying that, well, one of my persons here one time while we were on this stage.
Speaking further, Mr. Chizzy said it is too early for Governor Okpebholo to start up a fight, considering that the chairman just assumed office.
He would also remove his eye from a very obvious fault if there is a fraud in governance. And I think the governor should also be careful in their, and again for the PDP, if you look at also their words were very, very, if we were writing, you don't write on certain mistakes, I do not think that, in fact, when they said, as if they are caught, they said in your brief stay, we know that he's been elected for 4 years. What do they mean by brief stay? Are they going to impeach him? Are they going to do whatever? Are they saying that the court will remove him? If the court is going to remove him, do they know what the judgment of the court will be? They are also taking too much of what that statement was a little bit too far. So in all of that, I will only advise the governor to make sure that what he has said, because we can't take the words of a king is law. We can't say that, we can't take it in a wave of hand. We must deep into it, we must begin to question that, the process and all of that.
This comes after the People's Democratic Party in Edo State has accused the state governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, of misleading the people by his allegation that the suspended chairman of the local government areas moved 12 billion naira to some chieftains of the party within 15 months. Speaker of the Cross River State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Everett Ayambem, has welcomed members of the 10th Assembly back from Christmas and New Year holidays, urging them to work in unity for the betterment and prosperity of the state. Speaking during the first plenary session of the new year in Calabar, the Speaker stressed the need for legislators to renew their commitment to serving the people and to approach the new year with a collective sense of purpose. Ayambem reflected on the holiday season as a period of gratitude and reflection, while encouraging members to harness the energy and lessons from the break to improve the quality of legislative deliberations and outcomes. The Speaker called on the House to prioritize collaboration over political and ideological differences, adding that the harmony within the legislature is essential for achieving the state's developmental goals. Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order for the interim freezing and forfeiture of over 228.4 million naira linked to a former governor of Abia State, Theodore Orji. Justice Emeka Wite made the interim forfeiture order following an ex parte application to that effect by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC, through its counsel, Fadila Yusuf, who appeared before the judge, said the forfeiture was vital to its investigation into money laundering allegation against the former governor. The judge, after granting the forfeiture order, instructed the EFCC to publish the order in the newspaper to notify interested parties, while Orji, a former two-term governor of Abia State, also served as a senator representing Abia Central Senatorial District before retiring from active politics. According to the EFCC, the funds were found in the possession of FD Nigeria Limited and are suspected to be proceeds of unlawful activities. The EFCC alleged that FD Nigeria Limited conspired with Orji officials of its administration and his family members to defraud the Abia State government through conspiracy, abuse of office, money laundering, and diversion of public funds. In an affidavit filed in support of the ex parte application, a litigation officer with the EFCC, Tahir Ahmed, said his associates and family members claimed that the company was used to funnel money from government accounts with the help of bank officials, adding that a bank divisional head in Umuahia acted as a middleman between FD Nigeria Limited and Erondu Uchenna Erondu, a special advisor in Orji's administration. Justice Wite, after making the interim forfeiture order, gave anyone interested in the funds to appear before him within 14 days to show cause why the funds should not be permanently forfeited to the federal government. He adjourned till February 3 for a report on compliance. Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, Mr. Kanayo Uzwegbu, has decorated 92 newly promoted senior officers in the state command. The officers who were recently elevated to the next rank by the Police Service Commission included 20 Chief Superintendents of Police (CSP), 18 Superintendents of Police, CSP Superintendents of Police (SP), and 54 Deputy Superintendents of Police (DSP). Decorating the officers on Thursday in Enugu, the CP congratulated and tasked them to be diligent in their performance of their duties, adding that their promotion should be considered a call to greater dedication, responsibility, and discretion in the discharge of their duties. The CP said the elevation should serve as motivation for increased diligence and productivity. The command's management team members, including DCP Olasoji Akimbayo in charge of operations, DCP Adebowale Lawal in charge of state CID, and ACP Hope Ishiani Okereke in charge of Department of Finance and Administration, also congratulated the newly promoted officers. They collectively admonished the newly promoted personnel to remain committed, professional, and to uphold the integrity expected of their new ranks. Responding on behalf of the newly promoted officers, CSP Chidozie Okebugu expressed gratitude to the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Kayode Egbetokun, for recommending them for the promotion. Okebugu, who is also the Divisional Police Officer of Abakaliki Road Division, also appreciated the Police Service Commission for approving the promotion and thanked the Commissioner and his management team for their guidance, while assuring that the newly promoted officers would uphold their trust, remain dutiful, and strive to exceed expectations in their new capacities. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has signed the 2025 appropriation bill into law. The special advisor on media and publicity to the governor, Boyega Akosile, made this known in a post on his X handle. He said the budget size is 3.366 trillion naira, meant for the continuation of the great works of the Sanwo-Olu administration. Lagos State Special Offences Court has dismissed an application filed by former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, challenging the court's jurisdiction to entertain the $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud charges brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Justice Rahman Oshodi, in his ruling, held that the court had the jurisdiction to try Emefiele and his co-defendant Henry Omoile, and struck out 4 of the 26 counts filed by the EFCC against the defendant for lack of jurisdiction. Justice Oshodi explained allocation of foreign exchange without reason is not defined as an offense under any written law, adding that the objection to counts 1 to 4 succeeds and is hereby struck out. The judge subsequently adjourned the case for trial continuation on February 24, 2025, and the EFCC had arraigned Emefiele on 26 charges bordering on abuse of office and illegal allocation of $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira. At the last adjourned date on December 12, 2024, Emefiele's counsel, Mr. Olalekon Ojo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, argued that the court lacked jurisdiction to hear the case in Lagos. Ojo contended that the alleged offences, including abuse of office, fell outside the territorial reach of the Lagos Special Offences Court, and also argued that the charges violated Section 36(12) of the Nigerian Constitution. Furthermore, Ojo stressed that since the Lagos State House of Assembly does not have legislative authority over matters on the exclusive legislative list, Section 73 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2011, under which counts 1 to 4 were filed, cannot apply extraterritorially to the alleged abuse of office by Emefiele. Ojo also said a court's territorial jurisdiction is limited to the geographical area within which each authority can be exercised, and urged the court to strike out counts 1 to 4 of the amended charges filed by the EFCC on April 4, 2024. Nigerian Union of Journalists FCT Council has condemned the assault on a member of the council, Mr. Ndubisi Orji, at the Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja. Orji, who is a correspondent with the Sun newspaper, was allegedly assaulted by one Emmanuel Okoronkwo, a member of staff of the PDP. The incident was said to have occurred at the PDP National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza, Wuse, Zone 5, Abuja, when the assaulted journalist was about to enter the press center located within the Secretariat to carry out his lawful duty. A statement released by the Secretary of Council, Jide Onyekule, the union demanded an unreserved apology from the party within 48 hours and vowed to take up the matter with the relevant security authorities, while Senator Samuel Anyanwu denied giving such orders, saying the party was on holiday, and claimed that he had made efforts to invite the affected journalists but to no avail. The Nigerian Union of Journalists FCT Council, however, said that he saw the attack as reckless, ignoble and reprehensible behavior of Mr. Okoronkwo towards Ndubisi as absurd, ridiculous and unacceptable, and cannot be tolerated in a democratic society. National States Governor Abdullahi Sule has condemned possible coalition of opposition parties seeking to challenge the dominance of the ruling All Progressive Congress. Sule highlighted the positive impact of President Bola Tinubu's policies, citing consistent economic growth and improved production levels as key indicators of progress. The governor also commended Tinubu for the successful rehabilitation of the Warri and Port Harcourt refineries, describing the development as a major achievement that deserves recognition and celebration. Fire has destroyed a section of a market in Yola as a temporary commercial center for traders dislodged from the old market complex. The old market, which was pulled down after a fire razed the structures last year, is currently being rebuilt, and the fire outbreak over the night of Wednesday, January 8, affected a section of the temporary market, leaving traders mourning their losses. Firefighters and local volunteers worked tirelessly to contain the blaze, preventing it from engulfing the entire market, and no human casualties have been reported, but many traders lost goods and are deeply devastated. The state governor Amadu Fintiri has expressed his sympathies to the affected traders and promised support to alleviate their pain. About 1,000 vulnerable individuals affected by the 2024 flood disaster in Bauchi State benefited from multi-purpose intervention funded by the ECOWAS Commission. This was disclosed by the State Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Tanko Sununu, at the grand finale ceremony of the ECOWAS Emergency Response Project held at the Bauchi Government House. Represented by the Director of Humanitarian Affairs of the Ministry, Valentine Ezebu, the minister said the initiative aims to support the most flooded affected communities in the state, while stressing the federal government's commitment through the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, alleviating human suffering and fostering recovery for those affected by disasters. On his part, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, who was represented by the head of ECOWAS national units of the ministry, Ali Gombe Haruna, highlighted that the exercise was carried out in conjunction with Nigeria Red Cross Society. Also speaking, the Director of Humanitarian and Social Affairs of the ECOWAS Commission, Sintiki Tafa, who represented the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Aliyu Umar Toure, said the intervention is a demonstration of support to flood victims in Bauchi State. Speaking at the event, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, represented by the Secretary of the State Government, Aminu Hamayu, said the state government had also provided additional support to 150 households to address the growing needs of flood victims. Bauchi State government has allocated a significant 400 million naira in its 2025 budget for the purchase of 6 computers for the office of the secretary to the state government. In addition, 1 billion naira has been earmarked for the purchase of land for the construction of offices and buildings, while 170 million naira will be spent on acquiring a generator to power the SSG's office. This revelation comes shortly after Bauchi State Governor Bala Abdulkadir Mohammed criticized President Bola Tinubu's social and economic reforms, and the governor garnered attention after urging an Islamic cleric who had supported Tinubu's election to counsel the president on the plight of ordinary Nigerians. Governor Mohammed highlighted the widespread suffering among Nigerians, stressing the urgent need for governments to implement meaningful programs and make more prudent spending decisions. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Stay tuned.
From the lands across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has sympathized with the military and the families of the 6 soldiers who lost their lives during the assault on January 4, 2025. The tragic terrorist attack took place at the Nigerian Army base in Sabongida, Dambuwa, Borno State. A statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president commended the bravery and sacrifice of the fallen soldiers and also praised the Nigerian Armed Forces for their swift and decisive response to the attack. Highlighting the air component's effective retaliatory strikes, he said the resolute action by the army demonstrates the capability and readiness of the military to confront and defeat threats to the nation's security, while the targeted air raids successfully killed numerous terrorists and destroyed their assets as they attempted to flee. Acknowledging the challenges faced by the military, the president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to eradicating terrorism and banditry, promising unwavering support for the armed forces, and stressed that lessons must be learned to prevent a recurrence. Additionally, he urged the military to intensify its operation, particularly in the northwest, where bandits continue to endanger the lives and homes of innocent villagers, and also appealed to Nigerians, including the media, to rally behind the military's efforts to restore peace and stability across the nation. The attack, described as a dawn assault on the Sabongida Army base, claimed the lives of 6 soldiers, but was met with a strong counterattack by the Nigerian Armed Forces, reflecting their determination to maintain national security amidst evolving threats. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has detained 10 officers over the alleged thefts of operational items they could not account for. A statement by the EFCC's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewale, said the arrest followed directives from the executive chairman Ola Olukoyede. Development comes just days after the EFCC disclosed the dismissal of 27 personnel for involvement in fraudulent activities, while EFCC spokesman Oyewale said the detention of 10 officers for alleged items theft was part of ongoing efforts to rid the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of corrupt practices. Meanwhile, a non-governmental organization, Journalists Against Corruption, have commended the anti-graft agency over the dismissal of 27 of its officials for fraudulent activities and misconduct. A statement by the project coordinator of JSC, Kehinde Osofison, said it was the first time since the agency's establishment that such decisive action had been taken against errant officers, adding that the action will serve as a check on other staff of the commission and make them eschew any form of fraudulent act or misconduct. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar has commended military engineers and technicians for successfully reactivating a Donair DO-228 aircraft that had been grounded for 23 years. Abubakar commended the 5 engineers and 40 technicians for their dedication and described the achievement as a testament to the Nigerian Air Force's commitment to self-reliance and resource optimization. According to the service, the aircraft was initially designated 5NMPS and operated by the then Ministry of Mines, Power and Steel, and had remained dormant at the Dana facility in Kaduna since 2001. A statement by the Nigerian Air Force spokesperson, Air Vice Marshal Olushola Akimboyewa, said the reactivation followed a presidential directive for the transfer of grounded platforms to the Nigerian Air Force for evaluation, while a crack team comprising 5 engineers and 40 technicians from the Nigerian Air Force 431 Engineering Group in Kaduna undertook the reactivation project. Akimboyewa also said the newly reactivated aircraft would significantly bolster the Nigerian Air Force's tactical airlift capabilities, joining the fleet of DO-228 aircraft that remain actively used worldwide, while the milestones highlight the Nigerian Air Force growing capacity for advanced in-house aircraft maintenance and serve as a foundation for future projects aimed at achieving technical autonomy. Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has urged the Nigerian Natural Medicines Development Agency to address the proliferation of unregulated herbal drinks in the country. The ICPC Resident Commissioner for Lagos State, Mr. Kabe Elelu, who disclosed these at a one-day training webinar on Thursday titled Building a Transparent and Accountable Public Institution and Inauguration of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, expressed concern over the unchecked sale of herbal mixtures, commonly referred to as alagbo, by hawkers, adding that the consumption of such substances pose severe health risks. Highlighting the ICPC's mandate under Section 6 of its Act, Elolu said the Commission's roles in investigating corruption, preventing it through system audits, and educating the public on its dangers, and stressed the importance of ethics, integrity, and public service diligence in combating corruption. Elelu commended the NMDA for its credible performance on the ICPC Ethics and Integrity Compliance Scorecard, where it consistently scored above 70%, and urged the agency to intensify its efforts in promoting transparency. The Director General of the NMDA, Professor Martins Emeji, reiterated the agency's commitment to transparency in research and natural medicines development and described the inauguration of ACTU members as a significant step towards fostering transparency and fighting corruption. Federal government has proposed 1.1 billion naira in the 2025 budget for the long-delayed national population and housing census, marking an increase from the 693.3 million naira set aside in 2024. Additional census-related allocations of 527 million naira were included in the 2025 budget, which is currently before the National Assembly for vetting and ratification. Some of the census-related activities included 78 million naira for the National Population Data Bank, Nigerian Population Database Management System geoportal hosting of population website and web portal, 2.7 million naira for the preparation of the enumeration area demarcation concept manual, 10 million naira for census programs in schools, 25 million naira for conduct second pretest, 10 million naira for stakeholders conference to present 2018 census instrument, 2.5 million naira for development of small area and EA level database for special analysis and dissemination, 2 million naira for field demarcation in 774 local government areas. Nigeria's last census was in 2006, despite the United Nations recommendation that countries conduct population counts every 10 years, while the national census, initially scheduled for May 3 to 7, 2023, was postponed indefinitely during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. At the time, the National Population Commission stated that 532.7 billion naira would be needed to conduct the census. And now on to business news. Minister of Works David Umahi has won the contractor of the East-West Roads Section 3 Eleme Junction, One Junction, Reynolds Construction Company to deploy more resources to hasten the pace of work or face rescoping or termination of the contract. The minister reminded the contractor that it has up to the end of April 2025 to deliver a section of the carriageway and handed down the warning while inspecting the progress of work on the project. A statement by the ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations, Mohammed Ahmed, on Thursday said Umahi began an inspection on ongoing road projects in the southeast and south-south geopolitical zones, starting with Section 3 of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, Umuahia Aba. According to him, only 7 billion naira out of the 21 billion naira provided for the project, and instructed the Federal Controller of Works, Rivers State, to issue a warning to the contractor, promising to terminate it if there were no improvements in the tempo of work. He applauded the contractor Messiah's Arab Contractors Nigeria Limited on the quality of work, but instructed them to deploy in 2 more sites to speed up the construction and, most importantly, meet the set deadline. Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria has clarified that the 100 billion naira grant it requested from President Bola Tinubu is a loan and not free money. This is coming after Petron recently asked Tinubu for a 100 billion naira grant to help its members cope with the effects of the fuel subsidy removal, adding that the grant would help stem the threat of job losses occasioned by the removal of subsidies. Marketers said the cost of lifting a 33,000 truck rose from an average of 7 million naira in May 2023 to 30 million naira in October 2024, when the federal government fully deregulated the downstream sector. Petron President Billy Gillis Harry said 10,000 marketers could close shops if the federal government did not support them, while expressing concerns over the high interest rates in banks. In his recommendations for 2025, the Petron board sought continued investment in critical infrastructure and preventive maintenance, such as refineries, pipelines, and storage facilities to improve the country's refining capacity and reduce reliance on imported petroleum products. He also encouraged the development of local content by supporting indigenous companies and providing incentives for research and development in the downstream sector. Similarly, the National Vice President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Hamed Fashola, also asked for a special bank like the upcoming Africa Energy Bank to address the concerns of marketers in need of loans. Nigerian Meteorological Agency has forecast hazy weather conditions nationwide from Wednesday through Friday. In its weather outlook released on Tuesday in Abuja, NIMET projected moderate dust haze with horizontal visibility ranging between 2 kilometers and 5 kilometers throughout the forecast period, while in the north central region, moderate dust haze with similar horizontal visibility is anticipated. NIMET also forecasts slight dust haze in the northern region, accompanied by improved visibility during the forecast period, while the northern region is expected to experience moderate dust haze on Friday with horizontal visibility ranging between 2 kilometers and 5 kilometers. The agency also predicted slight dust haze with good visibility in the north central region, alongside cloud patches in a hazy atmosphere over the inland cities of the state. Naimet advised the public to take necessary precautions due to suspended dust particles in the air. It particularly urged individuals with respiratory conditions such as asthma to exercise caution in light of the prevailing weather conditions. China Development Bank has approved of a $254.76 million loan to support the Kaduna Railway project in Nigeria. The financial backing is expected to ensure the seamless continuation of the construction work. The railway, a standard gauge line stretching 203 kilometers, will link Kano, a key commercial city in northern Nigeria, to the nation's capital, Abuja. Once operational, it will provide residents with a safer and more efficient mode of transport, improving regional connectivity, and as an addition to easing transportation, the project is expected to spur economic growth by fostering the development of industries along its corridor. It is also set to create numerous employment opportunities during its construction and subsequent operations. The Kano-Kaduna Railway has been listed as a practical cooperation project under the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. The project is being executed by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation and financed by the CDB. According to the bank, construction is progressing well. The CDB reiterated its commitment to working closely with the Nigerian government to ensure the disbursement of funds and effective management of the next phases of the project. This is coming after the China Exim Bank, that was to be the founder of this project, backed off, with Nigeria announcing the CDB as the new financier, who has also said it will closely coordinate with Nigerian partners to ensure the smooth disbursement of subsequent loans and effective post-loan management. National Bureau of Statistics says it will be introducing 3 new indexes in its monthly consumer price index. This was reviewed on Thursday at the sensitization workshop on GDP and CPI rebasing organized by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and the NBS in Lagos. In October, National Bureau of Statistics announced plans to rebase the GDP and CPI to reflect current realities and account for structural changes in the economy, and new additions are expected to be part of the rebased CPI. The head of price statistics at the NBS, Dr. Ayo Andrew, in his presentation said apart from the normal headline inflation, core inflation, food inflation, the basics are going to include in the new CPI rebased that will be released this January. Another index has never been released before. Securities and Exchange Commission has planned to strengthen its regulatory framework through borrowing from both government and corporate entities, with an emphasis on ensuring financial sustainability in key sectors. The move comes amid the Supreme Court's ruling mandating direct subventions from the federal government to all 774 local government areas. A statement by SEC Director General Emomo Timi Agama highlighted the importance of borrowing in the financial system and the broader economy, stressing that the SEC aims to ensure sustainability in government borrowing, particularly for municipal and state governments, in light of the recent Supreme Court decision. Managing Director of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Foundation, Mrs. Emanuela Arukwe, says the foundation remains committed to promoting accessible and affordable health care for Nigerians. Arukwe, represented by Deputy Manager Special Projects NNPC Foundation Teniola Abu, disclosed this at the kick-off of the foundation's Southwest Free Cataract Screening and Surgeries for 1,000 people held at the Federal Medical Center Idiaba, Abeokuta. The MD said cataracts remain one of the leading causes of blindness globally, while the World Health Organization had also said that 50% of blindness cases in Nigeria were caused by cataracts. She said, in undeserved areas such as many parts of the Southwest, limited access to quality eye care exacerbates the challenge of blindness, leading to great social and economic crisis as vision loss directly affects productivity, independence, and overall quality of life, adding that it is against this background that the NNPC Foundation is offering free medical intervention starting from the Southwest and later spreading to other geopolitical zones. Giving an overview of the free medical service, the lead consultant physician to the foundation, Dr. Ann Amugo, said over 600 people have already been screened in Ogun State, while over 100 have also been screened for cataracts or surgeries in Lagos State, adding that the foundation was already surpassing its 1,000 people target. Amugo also said the foundation has already done 100 successful surgeries since the exercise began, while 3 children born with blindness have also had their sights restored. And now on to international tidbits. United States mission in Nigeria says it will close its operation on Thursday to honor former President Jimmy Carter. The U.S. mission stated this in a post on its official X handle on Thursday. Carter, who died on Sunday, December 29, 2024, at the age of 100, served a single term from 1977 to 1981 and was widely praised for his post-presidential humanitarian efforts, for which he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. The body of the late president was transferred on Tuesday in a grand and solemn military ceremony to the U.S. Capitol, where it will lie in state until a national funeral later this week. His body arrived at the snow-covered U.S. Capitol, where it will remain until Thursday after a full day of ceremonious travel that began in its native Georgia. Rescue worker and ethnic minority armed groups says Myanmar junta airstrike has killed at least 40 people in a village in western Rakhine state. This is coming after the Arakan army engaged in a fierce fight with the military for control of Rakhine, where it has seized swaths of territory in the past year, all but cutting off the capital, Sittwe. The Rakhine conflict is one element of the bloody chaos that has engulfed Myanmar since the military ousted Aung San Suu Kyi's civilian government in the 2021 coup, sparking a widespread armed uprising. A spokesperson, Kaing Thu Khan, said a military jet bombed Kiak Ni Mo on Ramri Island, starting a fire that engulfed more than 500 houses, and the military is struggling to fight opposition to its rule on multiple fronts around the country, and it has been regularly accused of using air and artillery strikes to hit civilian communities. Russian forces have denied they accidentally shot an Azerbaijani plane that crashed last month, despite Baku repeatedly urging it to accept responsibility for the fatal disaster. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev said the Azerbaijani Airlines passenger jet, which crashed in Kazakhstan on December 25, killing 38 people, was shot at from the ground over the Russian city of Grozny, where it had been due to land. Russia said its air defenses were working at the time repelling Ukrainian drones, but has stopped short of saying it shot at the plane, while Russian President Vladimir Putin called Aliyev twice since the disaster. The Kremlin said he had apologized for the fact the incident took place over Russian airspace, but its account of the phone calls does not say Putin accepted responsibility and expressed anger over Moscow's handling of the crash. He issued fierce criticism and demanded an apology earlier this week, calling on Moscow to punish those responsible for the criminal shooting of the plane, while Azerbaijan said the plane was riddled with holes and that preliminary results of its investigation show it was accidentally hit by a Russian air defense missile. At least 6 people lost their lives in the stampede in Sri Venkateswara Swami Temple in Andhra Pradesh, India, with several others injured. The tragedy occurred on Wednesday as a massive crowd gathered to collect entrance tokens to the temple, one of Hinduism's most revered sites. Prem Kumar Jain, spokesperson for the ruling Telugu Desam party in the state, expressed grief over the incident, while the Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his sympathies to the families of the victims, adding that deadly accidents during religious gatherings are a recurring issue in India and often caused by poor crowd management and safety lapses. And now is ATN Sports. Former Super Eagles defender Ifeanyi Udeze has criticized the Nigerian Football Federation's decision to appoint Eric Chell as the head coach of the Super Eagles. According to Udeze, former interim coach of the Super Eagles Augustine Eguavon has a better CV than Chell. He added that the Malian gaffer accepted the Super Eagles job only to boost his CV, while the NFF had earlier this week announced Chel's appointment. Chel replaced Egwavon, who was appointed as caretaker manager after the NFF parted ways with Finidi George last year. Chel is expected to lead Nigeria for the remaining games of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers and was sacked as Mali's head coach after failing to win games in the same 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. West Ham United are considering a shock move for Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford after appointing Graham Potter as their new manager. Potter was unveiled as the new head coach of West Ham on Thursday. His appointment comes after the Hammers sacked Julian Lopetegui on Wednesday. The Englishman signed 2.5-year contract at the London Stadium, while West Ham currently sit in the 14th position on the Premier League table with just 6 league wins so far this season. And Potter will try to bring in some of his own signings this ongoing January transfer window. The 49-year-old is reportedly interested in signing Chelsea's Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Rashford has fallen out of favour under Man United manager Ruben Amorim at Old Trafford. The England international is attracting interest from several foreign clubs, including AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, and Juventus. And now, entertainment news. Popular Nigerian singer Darlington Achakpo, also known as Speed Darlington, has petitioned the Deputy Inspector General of Police for Force Intelligence Bureau in Abuja, DIG Dasuki Galandachi, asking him to comply with the court order on his continued detention. In a letter addressed dated January 8, 2025, the Singers Counsel Rosemary E. Hamza from the chambers of Deji Adeyanju and partners said the court order issued by Justice M.S. Lehman on December 23, 2024 directed the police to charge Speed Darlington within 48 hours or release him unconditionally. The petition said Abubakar and Ihoma will be coming to the FIB on January 9, 2024 with a surety to fulfill the bail conditions imposed. The singer was arrested in Lagos and transferred to Abuja before being detained by the IGP's intelligence response team in Guzape area of Abuja. However, he was released from police custody and rearrested while performing at a show in Owerri, the Imo State capital, days after returning to the country. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Amid GOC inaugurates welfare projects in River State, Lagos State governor signs 3.366 trillion naira budget into law. Tinubu mourns fallen soldiers in Borno State. Petron denies seeking free money from federal government. U.S. mission in Nigeria closes to honor Jimmy Carter. Ex-Super Eagles player probes NFF over new coach. Singer Speed Darlington petitions DIG over detention. I am Favor Michael Chikwesri. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on all our social media handles, on Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress.